Pradyumna Institute. Chronic mesenteric ischemia is a threat to the alimentary tract. These patients have a poor quality of life because they can't eat, they lose weight, and their bowel habits are altered. And this is a real surgical challenge to the treating physician. So my cohort had a 7 patients over a period of 14 months. This mesenteric ischemia was mainly because of atherosclerosis, except one who had an aortic dissection with mesenteric malperfusion. 5 of them underwent open retrograde surgical revascularization and 2 underwent angioplasty with stenting. It was a predominantly male cohort with an age range between 40 to 62 years with a mean age of 52 years. And 3 patients had an associated aorta-iliac occlusive disease, 1 had an DT aneurysm and 1 had an associated type 3 dissection. The predominantly internal iliac arteries were used as a conduit for bypass, and in one case with composite graft and another case had an coated Dacron as a bypass graft. So this is the method we do our procedure. 256 slice CT is done prior to planning the surgery. After we do it, all the cases by transperitoneal midline laparotomy. After that, the common iliac is dissected and we go up to the internal iliac artery, and just we need 2 to 3 centimeters of the internal iliac artery which is dissected out. If there is an block inside the internal iliac artery, we endarterectomize this and connect it to the SMA and to the either infrarenal aorta or to the graft link in an end-to-side fashion. This is our completed picture which shows internal iliac artery as a conduit from infrarenal aortic graft to that of the SMA. And this is a 1-year follow-up CT imaging done which shows an patent and durable graft. This is one of our patients who presented with acute type 3 dissection. He had a dissecting aneurysm from left subclavate to the left iliac bifurcation, and it was on the right just at the entry of the common iliac artery. So initially, obviously, endovascular is the first option. We tried endovascular, which we failed, so we planned for an urgent revascularization of the SMA. The inflow was taken up from the right common iliac artery, and we anastomosed to the SMA, and post-operatively symptoms came down and is doing well. At 4 months of follow-up, but is developing a thoracoabdominal aneurysm. It is being planned for a repair of the aneurysm. So this is one of our patients who had an SMA celiac and left renal artery stenting. He underwent mesenteric revascularization. Both celiac and SMA were revascularized with balloon mounted steps, and he is doing well. In a endovascular patient, in the endovascular group, we had 2 patients. Both of them underwent viscerorenal revascularization, and 1 patient had an DTA aneurysm type C DTA. For that, we had done an TEVAR for that patient. So our results, there was immediate satisfactory results in both the groups. There were no morbidity and mortalities. Follow-up up to a maximum of 13 months we have, and the immediate technical success and symptom-free was in 100%, and all recovered within 6 months. So to conclude, surgical revascularization can be performed with a minimal morbidity, mortality. There is an excellent symptom relief and good quality of life for the patient. And the endovascular should be reserved for the patient who is high risk for open revascularization, or the endovascular is opted with associated aneurysmal iliac occlusive disease. Thank you.
See, based on your study, I'm not talking of literature. Based on your study, how can you conclude that endovascular should be reserved for patients for high risk for open revascularization?
Apologies, brother, this is little compared to the literature also.
No, that's fair enough. That may be, but firstly, even in literature, is surgical now, bypass now the management of choice, or is endovascular management for choice for SMA occlusion? Let's first talk of literature. I'm talking of in 2012.
Endovascular is obviously the first option. There are many conditions where endovascular will not be possible. Yeah. That is all like the diagram one.
So shouldn't it be the other way around then, that the surgical bypass should be reserved for patients where endovascular revascularization is not possible? Because in general, these occlusions tend to be short. Unless it's a very long occlusion, then it's different. Probably the patient may not survive that also. But typical small lesions, if you can do, you are sparing the patient a huge laparotomy. So Why have you based this conclusion?
Like they had associated aortoiliac bypass in 3 of the cases. So we had to do
Those 3 cases I understand. If there's an associated surgery, obviously you would like to do that. But anyway, others can answer.
Some of these patients, do come with great trouble, don't they? If you were to just tell me a couple of things that you would do to them before you subject them to a big operation, so that your patient would survive and go home. What pre-operative preparation would you do?
we would definitely like to increase his nutritional status is primarily important because these patients are nutrition, they're open surgical, the complications will be more if we don't improve their nutrition. So if we are
So
expecting
now tell me a couple of parameters of how do you establish their status of nutrition.
their body mass index, their serum protein level,
Serum protein. Then
A very simple test.
you can do that the moment you see the patient.
In your opinion.
weight, body mass index,
And grip strength. Okay.
How did your patients present? You never told us that. How are your patients presented? What's the presentation?
presented most of them presented with postprandial pain of the muscle. This was the second symptom was weight loss. Only one patient had an altered bowel habit.
And did you see any difference between how did you choose who you will use internal iliac and who you will use background in cases?
We have used only 5 patients, 3 we have used internal iliac artery. One because dissection we needed a long run where we have used a
Artery or arterial conduits towards graft placement. They tend to be good, bad, or are they better than graft, worse than graft? It's the same.
The current evidence says that the prosthetics are better than any of the arterial conduits, but in our own experience done in the earlier 2000 they are still patent,
So,
we are following our old,
okay, so you want to ignore the literature.
not like that.
No, I mean, I'm asking, is there any other reason? Or
We were doing from the beginning the internal iliac as a conduit, so we are still continuing with our own.
okay, good.